It's a snowy start to the weekend here in Morgantown, and for the first time in 4 decades, West Virginia takes on the University of Pennsylvania here in the University City as head coach Bob Huggins and the Mountaineers look to make some more history. Andrew Creedy joined alongside by Warren Baker. 5 games in 12 days for this University of Pennsylvania team, but without Jordan Dingle, how did they get it done?
I don't know. It's been tough, and it's going to be tough tonight. He was a game-time scratch, 20 points a game out of their lineup.
So what has Dingle brought to the table for this Penn team? 21 points in the last appearance against Drexel, had a season-best 24 against Towson. The 6'3" junior guard from Valley Stream, New York is unavailable. Now on the other end for West Virginia, it's been balanced scoring. Look at what they've been able to do across these 5. Bake, who stands out to you the most and maybe who surprises you?
Well, there are 2 guys, Mitchell and McGee. Mitchell, because he was hurt early and we didn't know what he would bring. You've been able to see that. And McGee, what a pleasant surprise inside for the Mountaineers.
West Virginia is 3-0 to begin this young season. Penn is 1-3. There is Trey Mitchell for the Mountaineers, the 6'9" senior transfer from Texas, playing in his 72nd game. There's Eric Stevenson for West Virginia, a transfer from South Carolina. He's in his 5th year. Otherwise for West Virginia, their starters, Kedrian Johnson, Eric Stevenson, Emmett Matthews, Trey Mitchell, and Jimmy Bell. For Penn, Clark Slackert, Reese McMullen making his first start of the season, Nick Spinoso, Mac Martz, and Lucas Monroe out here for the Quakers. We are ready to go. It's Spinoso and the Mountaineers' Jimmy Bell. And we are underway from the WVU Coliseum as the tip is one back from Jimmy Bell to Keedy Johnson. So with a victory here tonight, Bake, for Bob Huggins, he'll move into 3rd place all-time in D1 victories, tying him with Jim Calhoun. And there is Trey Mitchell right on cue to get things started.
Right at the beginning of the ball game, and silky smooth.
21 points against Moorhead, but he says he's not even 100% yet, as you mentioned. Was sort of injured at the beginning of the season and not quite there.
Well, it's hard to tell what he's going to be like when he really gets right.
So a Penn team searching for an identity in this one. An offensive foul called as they will get Lucas Monroe, the 6'6" senior, on the offensive foul. Had 11 rebounds on Tuesday against Drexel. And this is a Penn team that has stayed busy, but it is a senior-laden, experienced group for head coach Steve Donahue in his 7th season. As we get the starting 5 for both teams on the board for you right now. Eric Stevenson moves it on to Emmett Matthews, who needs 12 points for 1,000 in his career combined between his time in West Virginia and Washington. Matthews going to pull up. Not quite there. Rebounded by Monroe of Penn.
Penn will run when they get chances. When they don't, look for them to run a very deliberate and pattern offense.
Kicked out to Spinoso, 6'9" sophomore from Port Washington. Going to slip it inside, had a good look there. And a foul called on Stevenson. Going up was Reese McMullen, the 6'3" sophomore from Memphis, as we take a look at Steve Donahue. Very nice to talk to him today. I feel like he gave us a lot of good stuff, right? He expects a very physical battle in this game against the Mountaineers. His approach to this one, every 50-50 is going to be a battle, and we need to win those.
And we got to win some of those. He wants his team to match West Virginia when they're being physical like that.
McMullen misses that one off to the right, playing in his 4th game of the season. Now, free Chick-fil-A for the fans if he misses this one.
If he misses it, yeah.
McMullen has not shot free throws on the season, but he makes one there. 2-1 West Virginia. Bucket from Trey Mitchell has the Mountaineers ahead.
We'll see a variety of defenses out of Penn. Right now, they're starting in a man-to-man. Boy.
Nice drive by Kedrian Johnson, the 6'3" senior for West Virginia, to make it a 4-1 game.
Boy, Keedy Johnson right down the middle through all kinds of traffic.
34th start of the season for him. Hand off for Penn. Spinoso.
He will be very patient when they don't have a break.
And that pass goes awry, thrown out of bounds by Nick Spinoso. And there is Coach Huggins' first ever game against a team from the Ivy League, Bake.
That's hard to believe with as many wins and even with the losses that he has not run into an Ivy League team before.
Second activist winning coach behind Jim Boeheim. Here's Stevenson. Gonna pull up. He will hit that every time. Eric Stevenson on the bucket. And West Virginia goes up 6.
A better start for the Mountaineers than the start the other night. They were very sluggish, coming out with a little more firepower here early.
And another offensive foul issued against the Quakers.
Espinoza with an illegal screen.
Yeah, that was right. That Morehead State game for West Virginia came out a little bit slow turning on in the second half. But there's a total breakdown of head coach Bob Huggins. Check out that home record against non-conference teams. This will be number 90 if he gets it done here. Not only that, 300 plus at 2 separate schools. Fiery start for the Mountaineers. Keedy Johnson can't find the mark. Strong rebound from Jimmy Bell. He'll put it away.
If you let Jimmy Bell get that low and he gets his hands on the ball, it's all over.
Senior from Saginaw, Michigan. At 10 points and 8 rebounds against Morehead State. Hopefully for West Virginia, that can be a bit of a coming out game for him. This is Slackert with the ball. Rebounded by Spinoza. Given back to Slackert. He'll step back. He's a three-point shooter. Left it short that time. Gets it again and puts it in.
Mountaineers fighting over the ball. Jimmy Bell had his hands on it, but Slackert right there to get the loose ball and stick it back.
A couple of three-point attempts for the Quakers' best three-point shooter. Can't get it to fall, but Keedy Johnson gets that one done. And it's 11-3 West Virginia.
Keedy Johnson feeling good from the onset here.
Monroe over the midcourt stripe. 16:30 to go, first half. Monroe splits 2, goes all the way to the basket and flushes it home.
Boy, total defensive breakdown. Lack of communication, no backside help, and he had an easy shot to the bucket.
Averaging just 2 points per game this season, but Monroe finds 2 easy ones there to make it 11-5. Keedy with the basketball for West Virginia.
Penn kind of playing a sloughing man-to-man defense.
Bell, tough move to the basket. Can't get it to fall on that contested shot. Good straight-up defense from Lucas Monroe. And he'll lead the charge up here for Penn. Jump pass tipped by Stevenson, and McMullen recovers. Tipped out of bounds by Trey Mitchell. Out of the hands of Reese McMullen. Mountaineers by 6 as we're just getting started here from the WVU Coliseum. We'll get a word with Amanda Mazey when we come back on ESPN+.
Welcome back to the Coliseum. West Virginia with a 6-point lead over Penn. Well, despite this undefeated start for WVU, Coach Bob Huggins knows that his team has a lot of work left to do, especially with the schedule that's really about to get amped up, starting with Purdue next week in Oregon. Huggins says that he does not like how his team has turned the ball over so much through these first 3 games, but he says defensively his team is getting better, but they need to help each other out more and they need to guard better. But these guys are coachable and they're working on what needs to change to make sure they are ready for these teams that they'll be facing over the Thanksgiving break. And you know what, guys, this is just going to be a good test, all these games next week before they start Big 12 play, which comes.
Yeah, no question about it. It is going to be a rough go there in Portland, so Coach Huggins has to make sure his group is ready on the other side of the country. Thank you very much, Amanda. Andrew Caridi and Warren Baker with you as the Mountaineers have a 6-point lead. They get us started here. No changes for West Virginia, but it is Penn making a change as we come back. Slackert will find Spinoza to the opposite wing. And here's the recent entry, George Smith. His shot wouldn't go. Offensive board for the Quakers, and the putback turnaround jumper is nice for Max Martz.
Yep, and again, a long shot like that, it's going to be a long rebound. Mountaineers not in good position to get that.
Keedrian Johnson finds Trey Mitchell. And a Stevenson underneath. And a poke from behind. That was Slackert staying active. It'll stay with West Virginia. Clark Slackert, the 6'1 junior from Los Angeles. Let's get some keys to the game here, Bake. For Penn, what do they need to do, especially without Jordan Dingle?
Well, they need to be physical with West Virginia, try to manage West Virginia's physicality, and they need to execute in the half court, which they've done at this point.
Good bucket for Trey Mitchell. And on the other end for West Virginia, I guess stick to what's working for you.
Yeah, they need to do that. Everybody on defense has to be ready. because they run so many backdoor cuts and that type of thing, and 1 P at a time. In other words, Penn tonight, don't worry about Purdue till next week. You put Purdue ahead of Penn and you got problems.
Yep, good call. Stevenson was trying to find Emmett Matthews on that alley-oop attempt, and a travel to send it the other way as we've played 5 minutes here.
We're trying to, just a little missed time between Eric and Emmett on that play. We've seen a few highlight reel plays this year of those guys. And the Hugs likes those as long as they work. When they don't work, he's not real pleased about it.
Understandable. Michael Moshkovitz is coming to the game for Penn, along with Max Lorca-Lloyd. And for West Virginia, down low, Jimmy Bell swapped out for Mo Wagee, the sophomore from the Bronx. Matthews finds his fellow Washingtonian, Eric Stevenson. Driving baseline, going to go up with it and draw the foul.
Yep, nice little head fake by Eric inside. Get the defender in the air and then go into it and draw the contact.
They'll get Smith for the foul. And Stevenson, always reliable from that position, will shoot 2. Rare miss there from Stevenson again. A guy who shot 98% when he was at South Carolina has dropped to 75 here at WVU. 6'4", 205 from Lacey Washington in his 129th career game. Makes the second one and still hanging his head a bit, but it is West Virginia doubling up Penn here, 14-7.
Upset about missing that free one.
Moshkovitz from Jerusalem handles it now for the Quakers. Lorca-Lloyd. Dribble handoff here to Monroe.
Now, I said everybody has to, on defense, has to be ready because this team runs so many back cuts and things. If you fall asleep, they're going to find you.
Moshkovitz getting physical there with Trey Mitchell. Going to swing to the basket, can't get it to fall. Quick transition for West Virginia. Stevenson going to step into a triple and swish it. That'll be his second of the game.
No hesitation at all. Shot that with a bunch of confidence.
West Virginia has forced a fair amount of turnovers. And it's 6-0 run on the way here, nearing the halfway mark in half number 1. Slackert got a whistle underneath the basket. And Stevenson reacts like it'll be on him. But they'll get Wagee instead.
Slackert for Penn really has to step up. He's their second leading scorer. And with Dingle's sideline tonight, a lot of that scoring is going to come on his back.
Here's Monroe. Scored in double figures in 5 career games. Slackert drops the shoulder, and Nikiti Johnson knocks down the jumper. So Clark Slackert on his way to a nice little performance. Scored in 20 points in 2 games this season out of the 4 that Drexel has played. In these teams meeting for the first time in over 40 years. You got to go back to 1981. The last time that these two matched up. And actually, if you stay with us during halftime, we've got some video from that day, Vic, if you can believe it. Joe Toussaint in the game for the Mountaineers, and another triple for West Virginia.
Boy, you love to see that instant offense come off the bench. Toussaint just got into the game, didn't hesitate.
So check that out all the way back. That was NIT play. Mountaineers +3 and +4.
Well, the next dead ball, I have something for you here. The first meeting ever between these two schools, 1922, 100 years ago.
Yeah.
West Virginia got beat 35-9. They ran the score up on us. Hugs played in that game. I'm pretty sure Hugs was on that team. I'm going to ask him, is there revenge on his mind tonight, 100 years ago, getting beat 35-9?
Big, now I think he might say the same thing about you.
He was on the court that night, so, we owed him one from that beating he took that night.
Yep, that's fair. That's fair. Mitchell again, West Virginia with another triple.
Steve Donahue did not expect this. They are playing a sloughing man-to-man against West Virginia, and West Virginia is making them pay for downtown.
West Virginia with 4 3-pointers in this game already. Moshkevitz and take Trey Mitchell to the basket. And he traveled. 23-9, Mountaineers, and that'll take us to another break. West Virginia 23, Penn 9. On Big 12 now on ESPN Plus, the Mountaineers making it rain at the Coliseum. Well, West Virginia had 4 threes against Morehead State across the entire game. They've already got 4 now, Bake, as West Virginia up in this game 23-9.
And the guys shooting them look very, very comfortable in doing it. Trey Mitchell really steps right into his shot. Form, doesn't hesitate at all, and that's what you like to see. That's a confident guy shooting the ball.
Welcome back to the WVU Coliseum. Andrew Caridi, Warren Baker, Amanda Mazey is also standing by with our sideline crew. How about this for West Virginia? They've already forced 6 turnovers as well. Trey Mitchell has 7 points. Eric Stevenson with 7. We showed that balanced scoring graphic for West Virginia in this game, and that is continuing to be true. So the Mountaineers have Kobe Johnson, Trey Mitchell, Mo Wiggy, Joe Toussaint, and Emmett Matthews out here. This is Toussaint. Looking to create something here. Emmett Matthews. Another for West Virginia.
Boy, threes are in town tonight.
Make that 5 of 6 for WVU. You know, if you're Penn, Bake, what do you got to do?
Well, they're playing a sloughing man-to-man. It's almost like a zone, but if West Virginia continues to shoot like that, they won't be able to stay in that.
Another turnover for Penn, make it 7 on the game.
I don't think Steve Donahue thought that they had the athletes to go out and match up way out on the perimeter against West Virginia. But something's going to have to give if West Virginia continues to shoot like that.
Yep, 9-0 run for West Virginia over the last 2 minutes. And Joe Toussaint in no rush as he carries over the midcourt stripe. Trey Mitchell. Show his balanced ability. Can't get the and one, but he'll shoot 2.
Morehead State tried to double down on Trey Mitchell, and he made him pay. Right now, Penn looked as though they were going to do the same thing. He still got a shot up, it just didn't drop, and he'll go to the line. He is a tough matchup when he posts up.
Trey Mitchell with 7 already and in his collegiate career for West Virginia. Now at 1,051 with the free throw made. A senior from Pittsburgh. Born in Germany, believe it or not. That'll make it 28-9. Mountaineers 1 point from a 20-point lead, not even halfway through our first half. Slackert receives the handoff. Spinoza inside. Double team comes for West Virginia, and Trey Mitchell swats it away.
Wasn't much Spinoza could do about that. He was going to be trapped down inside. Just had to try to get the ball up on the board, which he did. And of course, WVU with that double team block out of bounds.
Yep, Mo Wiggy and Trey Mitchell. McMullen. And they'll get Wiggy for a second.
Those are the type of fouls that they don't want to see Mo Wiggy get.
So his half likely done.
Yep.
And James Okonkwo and Josiah Harris will come into the game for West Virginia. And we see Wiggy getting an explanation there. And interesting there for West Virginia because Okonkwo and Harris, where were they against Morehead State? And that's the question.
Well, Okonkwo was in the doghouse, so I know that. But, yeah, Harris didn't play much. But Okonkwo is back out there now and has been more focused in practice. So he's going to see some time.
The shifty Joe Toussaint finds Mitchell. Jump save off of Okonkwo, loose on the floor, and claimed by the Quakers. Here they come. McMullen with the dish and the 3. And they'll get Penn on the foul call. They're going to pick up Jonah Charles, the 6'4" senior.
Penn will take a quick shot if they have a good one. Coach said that's fine. And if they don't, then he wants to bring it back out and run through the many sets they have on offense. That was a quick shot.
This is Kobe Johnson. Toussaint pulls the trigger. This is kind of unbelievable, Bake.
Joe Toussaint had a shot like that the last time down and didn't take it. That time he didn't hesitate.
6 3-pointers for West Virginia makes it 31-11, and they do have that 20-point lead. Slackert going to try and take Toussaint to the basket, and he does get the foul call. Can't finish the play. He'll shoot 2. Clark Slackert.
Nice quick step by Slackert. Tough break if that didn't drop for him because he made an awfully nice move going to the bucket.
Slackert is 100% from the free throw line, averaging 15 per game this season, and wonderfully done. Pat Sumnick will check into the game for West Virginia. 6'8" sophomore from Green Bay, Wisconsin. He's been looking good at practice this week.
Yes, he has. Hugs really likes his energy, too.
Yep. Kind of the identity of this West Virginia team.
Oh, yeah.
As McMullen and Charles come out, George Smith is back into the game, along with Max Martz. We were talking to Coach Donahue, and he was saying that, this year with the quality of competition that his team has played, really haven't had a chance to experiment with his lineup all that much. Sort of contrary to what maybe they've been able to do in the last couple of years.
Well, yeah, that's true. They've played some really, really good people here early on, and he's just trying to get his first 7 or 8 to mesh here.
Yeah, you can say the same thing for West Virginia, though.
Sure.
Different 5: Toussaint, Sumnick, Kobe Johnson, Josiah Harris, and Okonkwo. Spinoza goes to the wing. Triple from Martz, off the mark. Rebound, Joe Toussaint. 8:45 remaining first half here from the WVU Coliseum. Another 3 on the way. That time no good. Rebounded by Martz underneath. See what Penn can do in transition here. Josiah Harris providing the on-ball defense. Spinoza spins on Okonkwo, who fouls Spinoza.
Spinoza is really, really good at recognizing when he has a person off balance. Just that little head fake was enough to get James in the air, and he came down with the foul.
So the sophomore heads to the free throw line. Spinoza had 12 against Towson a few games ago, along with 5 rebounds. And misses the first free throw. That is another 100% free throw shooter. That time wouldn't go. Mountaineers 31, Penn 13. West Virginia has hit 6 3-pointers in this game and forced 7 turnovers. Next free throw is out too. Rebounded by Josiah Harris. Toussaint. Josiah Harris. That time no good. Bodies crashing underneath the basket. Rebound claimed by Penn. Monroe. Martz. Triple. Got it. There's some life here for Penn.
Those guys spot up, and if you're slow getting to them, they will knock it down. Hutch has really been working with JoJo Harris on his shot, and he's not, his form's not where it should be at this particular point.
So the Quakers settling in here. Jimmy Bell couldn't reach the pass from Harris. And that'll take us to another break. Seth Wilson ready to come into the game for West Virginia, but the Mountaineers up 31-16 here as we close in on halftime for the WVU Coliseum. Stay with us on Big 12 Now on ESPN+. Welcome back to the WVU Coliseum. Well, the landscape of college athletics has certainly changed over the last couple of years, maybe in the Power 5, but that's not been the case for the Ivy League. Amanda Mazey, what do you have for us?
Well, of course, WVU has a lot of new faces thanks to the transfer portal. Penn Does not one this year. Coach Donahue joked around with me earlier today, and he said it's like 1985 around his program. It's hard to get into Penn, and it is hard to get out, he said. He also says the Ivy League is the only league that didn't have any undergraduate players transfer. He loves it because he's able to have stability on his team year to year, and he can develop those players because he has time because they stay in the system. Pretty remarkable, Andrew.
It is pretty crazy. Thank you, Amanda. Not only that, grad students aren't allowed to play basketball in the Ivy League, Bake, for one reason or another. And Coach Donahue says he doesn't exactly mind that. And it's not, you know, let's put it this way. You can play a fifth year anywhere else, but in the Ivy League, those are tough grad schools to get in. It's not just playing another year basketball.
No, that's right.
Takeaway here for Seth Wilson. Matthews getting some space created by Sumnick. Wilson back to Emmett, whistle. And a 3-second call underneath.
It's Sumrick inside, I think. Yeah, the thing is, those kids graduate, but they don't have a grad year. They already graduate. That gives them an opportunity to go to another school, maybe a Power 5 school, another school to experience basketball. They have their degree. They go ahead and play another year ball someplace.
Yeah, Amanda, there's more on that transfer portal, though.
Yeah, how about this? I mean, think about this. One aspect of the transfer portal that fans really don't think about, but the coaches do, is the scouting aspect, especially early on in a season like this. So when a coach has to scout an opposing team now, it's more than just looking at the film from that particular opponent that you're getting ready to face off with. With so many new faces at the beginning of the season, coaches have to look at film from those players' previous schools as well. So can you guys imagine trying to scout West Virginia with all of these players? I mean, it must take forever. Sit, relax, grab a drink, because you're going to be in front of that computer for quite a while.
Quite a while, you're right.
Yeah, that's a solid point, Amanda. But we know staffs are growing exponentially over the last couple of years, so maybe there's going to be a, you know, someone that just tracks down film from the last couple of years. An archaeologist of sorts. Jumper bouncing twice and pulled down by West Virginia, and ultimately a foul called against the Quakers. With 6:54 to go here in half number one, West Virginia 31, Penn 16. Mountaineers shooting 65% in this game. 67% from three there, 6 of 9, Bake.
And I can hear Hugs right now. Hey, let's don't fall in love with that three. We want to take them, but let's go. This, you know, that's come easy here early on, but you can't depend on that. You got to play other solid basketball.
Well, some other things to criticize for Coach Huggins. They've been out-rebounded 9-6, but maybe as a result of all those shots going in. Matthews. Bell up for it. Puts it back with authority. Jimmy's look good, Bake.
I don't know how you move him, but you can't afford to let him get that far under and expect to stop him when he gets the ball.
And that was the hope for Coach Huggins and Jimmy Bell as he gets beaten that time. To the basket goes Nick Spinozo.
Nice move by Spinozo. He had to get that high off the ice to go down.
We'll get Sumnick for an offensive foul, trying to free up Toussaint.
Yeah, look at the position Bell has. That is just way too easy, too close.
Mountaineer fans have heard it a million times already, but he's lost 75 to 80 pounds before he got started here. Mountaineers will make another substitution. Pat Sumnick out, and Jamel King is in the game for West Virginia, the sophomore from Uniontown, Alabama. 6'7", 215.
Bell must have been on a carrot diet for about 6 months in order to lose that much weight.
They're just the snack food eating at night, actually. Lucas Monroe, Slackert pulls the trigger. And a collision there between the Mountaineers. Spinozo goes up over the top of Jimmy Bell.
Boy, a Cardinal no, never throw the ball back inbounds under your own basket or the opponent's basket. Mistake by Jamel King throwing that ball back. Throw it back to half court someplace, but not right in front of the opponent's basket.
Penn has cut this Mountaineer lead to 13. As many as 20 earlier on. And Matthews draws the foul. Against Eddie Holland, 6'6" sophomore from Philadelphia. And it was tough because Bell and Matthews ran into each other. Not the first time that's happened in this game.
Right.
Ellsworth, the 7th foul against the Quakers, so 1-and-1 free throws coming up here for Emmett Matthews. Has 3 points in the game. Needs 9 to cross 1,000 in his collegiate career. First of a 1-and-1 will roll in. 103rd start.
Hugs and I were commenting today how much Emmett Matthews' shooting has improved since he was here the first time, left, and now coming back.
Gets the second, too. And is perfect from the free throw line this year. 15-point lead for West Virginia as we're closing in on halftime. Stay with us. We've got some film from the last time these two teams met back in 1981 and a conversation with interim AD here at WVU, Rob Alsop. Another bucket for Penn. That one turned in by Marks.
Yep. Again, good recognition. West Virginia had 3 guys on the ball. Found Marks inside for an easy one. This team's going to continue to execute. Now, West Virginia needs to make sure that they fall in all of those lanes because these guys will find the open man.
Jamel King. Shot clock at 8. Bell called high for the screen. Keedy Johnson, no look pass to Wilson. No good. Rebounded by Slacker. Here he comes with numbers. Slacker going to step into a jumper. Rebounded by Bell, assisted by Matthews.
Boy, Slacker would like to have that one back. That's right where he likes to shoot it.
King gets the triple for West Virginia, and Jamel King gets on the board.
Well, that's what Jamel King is known for, his outside shooting ability. You saw it on display. He hasn't played much, but took advantage of that.
Mountaineers 7 of 10. Slacker, big bait.
West Virginia late in rotating back. Had a good double team in the corner. I don't know where the help defense was, but that's 2 times in a row. There hasn't been anybody there to protect the rim.
3:50 remains first half. Mountaineers move it quickly. And King can't find the mark that time. Monroe looks at Coach Donahue for the play call. Mountaineer lead is 14. Spinoza, backdoor cut, looking for Monroe, and it goes awry. We'll take our final break of the first half. West Virginia 38, Penn 24 here from the WVU Coliseum on Big 12 Now on ESPN+. Well, West Virginia has made it rain, but only one player in double figures in this one. It is Clark Slacker. He's playing with a lot of energy, Bake.
He certainly is. He's one of the leaders of the ball club. And again, without Dingle being there tonight, I think he feels a little more pressure on those shoulders, to put up some shots. And yeah, he's been good early on.
And he's playing with no fear, Bake. A lot of those points coming inside West Virginia territory.
Sure.
When you look at these points in the paint, 14-8 in favor of Penn. West Virginia has forced 11 turnovers in this game. Mountaineers up 14. Andrew Creedy, Warren Baker with you here from the WVU Coliseum. Mountaineers with one final home game before heading over to Portland. And there is Jordan Dingle out for the game. Didn't appear in this one, 6'3" junior.
Yeah, he did work out during their shoot around today, but coach said it would be a game time decision. And
Matthews going to draw the blocking call. He'll shoot 2. Yeah, Dingle leading the team in scoring, assists, and steals. 24 against Towson, 21 Tuesday against Drexel. So Penn coming into this game a little less firepower. Emmett Matthews to shoot free throws for West Virginia. Matthews 5 points on the game. 2 of 2 from the line, 2 rebounds, and 2 assists. Now he's got to make 2 to continue the trend. Nice free throw.
Penn getting their first win the other day over Drexel, and Morgantown's own Zach Spiker losing the ball game at Drexel to Penn. They had a big lead there, Drexel did, and Penn came back and won the ball game.
Yep. Penn had lost the first 3 games of the season, 78-50 against Iona, then dropped a 92-85 contest at Missouri, and then lost to Towson before getting in the win column. Monroe underneath, another point in the paint.
If you fall asleep against this team, that's why we said everybody has to know the defense. You fall asleep, they're going to find the open man.
40-26, West Virginia up 14 points, 2:45 to go. Keedy Johnson, foul line extended. Mitchell make things happen single-handedly over the last couple of games for West Virginia. Once the ISO back, all over him is Martz. Mitchell, that's a tough shot. That is a pro shot.
It is. He created some space as he bumped into the defender a little bit, and that's all he needed.
And Trey plays with an edge, too.
Oh, he does.
Mentioning transfer portal conversation about Penn and West Virginia being night and day difference. Slacker goes up, can't follow it. Mountaineers' most important player may have come from the portal. Trey Mitchell. Stevenson making a case for himself, too.
Step back 3.
Eric Stevenson is perfect on the night, his 3rd 3. And an answer back.
Pick and roll.
Yep.
They and those guys have played so much together, they know where each other's going to be.
Now Lucas Monroe on the bucket for Penn. Stevenson, red hot.
Coach Donahue just kind of shaking his head, says, you know what, I don't know what we can do.
Mountaineers have the lead back to 20 with 90 seconds to go in the first half. Slacker to the corner. Holland, there's an answer for the Quakers. High scoring first half.
Slacker took a couple dribbles in, drew the defense, and then kicked to the corner.
Mountaineers 3 of their last 3, Penn 5 of their last 7 from the field. Stevenson all the way to the cup. Yes. He's in double figures now. 15 in the first half for Eric Stevenson, the 5th-year transfer from South Carolina. 50-31 West Virginia, 50 seconds to go. Slackered inside, a little out of the reach of his intended target, but it slips off of Trey Mitchell and will stay with the Quakers.
Better rotation by the Mountaineers defense that time on that pick and roll. They really had the roll man going down the middle, pretty well tied up.
They were looking for Lorca Lloyd, 30-second timeout called, and we will keep it here. 42 seconds remain in the first half. It is West Virginia 50 and Penn 31. Check out these numbers for West Virginia. 15 for Stevenson and 11 for Trey Mitchell, the guy who I think really opened things up for West Virginia, Bake.
He most certainly did. He came out red hot. I'll tell you what, he is so smooth. Watch him create a little bit of space here. Yep, just step back just enough. That's all he has to have.
And you know, his three-point game really wasn't part of what he was used to doing, but he's brought that to West Virginia.
Yeah. That's the one I was talking about, the step back. Yeah, to create the spot there, that's a pro type of play. The biggest concern Hugs had about Trey Mitchell coming in was, will he be dedicated enough to play the type of defense that I want him to play?
Yep.
I think he realizes, well, if I don't do that, I'm not going to be on the floor. So he's bought in.
Back underway, final seconds of the first half. This one pushed up by Holland, no good. Johnson on the rebound. Stevenson looking to stay perfect. Eric Stevenson does it again. 17.
Eric Stevenson blowing by guys like they're standing still.
He is 6 of 6 from the floor, 4 of 4 from 3. They probably expect him to pull up, and he goes straight by him. 15 seconds to go. This will be the final shot of the first half, likely. Monroe. No good. Spinoza. Turnaround, put back, no good. 5 seconds to go. Mitchell to Okonkwo. Keedy Johnson. That one deflected. And that'll send us to halftime here at the WVU Coliseum. The Mountaineers shoot 67% from the field. Eric Stevenson with 17 points. 6 of 6. He is perfect. The Mountaineers 9 threes on 14 attempts. West Virginia red hot here in the WVU Coliseum, and Amanda Mazey is standing by with head coach Bob Huggins.
All right, so what did you say to Eric Stevenson before the game, because he's red hot?
Well, I told him to guard, too, and he hadn't guarded anybody yet.
I knew you were going to find the negative in there.
Well, I mean, it was his guy that got that back cut and shot layup, so we got to get him to guard equally as well as he scores it at the other end.
Speaking of guarding, you guys have given up a lot of points in the paint. I know you're not happy about that one.
We haven't guarded anybody. I mean, we get on the side of people, let them drive it to the goal. We're getting screened. Our bigs are anywhere near where they're supposed to be, and we worked on it for an hour yesterday, so that part of it's frustrating.
All right, thanks. Appreciate it.
Yep.
All right, so it sounds like guarding is going to in the locker room.
Certainly sounds like it. Points in the paint, something to focus on. If West Virginia not hitting these shots, maybe it's a different game, but we'll step aside. Halftime here at the Coliseum. West Virginia 52, Penn 31 on ESPN. Getting set for half number 2 here from the WVU Coliseum. Welcome back, Andrew Caridi, Warren Baker, and we have had some precipitous conditions outside, and that has followed us inside. We've got 83 combined points between West Virginia and Penn. We'll start with the Quakers. Clark Slackert came into this game averaging 15 points per game, and the little guy is finding his way in. He's finished some tough chances.
He's one of those guys that always has a nose for the ball. It just seems to find him all the time, and he knows what to do with it. He's a very smart player. There he's inside, he's undersized inside, but playing well.
And for West Virginia, most explosive first half of the season. They get a bunch of three-pointers, 9 to be specific, and Eric Stevenson has 17 of those 53.
For these guys, when you knew they could all shoot it, but when you get the whole crowd shooting like that, it's going to be a tough night for anybody.
So Eric Stevenson, perfect from the floor. He's got 6 field goals, 4 three-pointers. Trey Mitchell has 11 points on 4 shooting. Evan Matthews with 7, and Joe Toussaint with 6 points as well, as we give you the entire score sheet leading up to this one. So the Mountaineers red hot at 64%, Penn at 46%, Slackert has 10 for the Quakers. And we see what West Virginia's players have been able to do. Amanda Mazey is our sideline reporter for this one, and she caught up with Penn head coach Steve Donahue following the halftime break. Amanda?
I sure did. Coming out of the locker room, I asked him, I said, what are a couple things you need to work on in the second half? And he just said he was so disappointed in their defensive intensity. He said he just thought they overthought it too much, just too many open shots for the Mountaineers. And he said they just need to guard better and just really compete at a higher level. He just wasn't really happy with their intensity. So I would expect a change here as far as that goes in the second half.
Thank you, Amanda. And it did seem like they sort of, came to the task as it went on. And as we said, if West Virginia wasn't having their best shooting performance of the season, this is a much closer game, maybe a 10-point difference.
Well, that's true. And, if Dingle was playing and you throw maybe 10, 12 points of his in right here at halftime, then you've got a contest. But I agree with him. They're going to have to get out on those shooters for West Virginia if they're going to continue to shoot like that. The Mountaineers are just burning the nets up.
Yeah, solid point. 52-31 is where we restart again. Penn playing without the services of Jordan Dingle, who leads the team in scoring, averaging 20 a game.
Better rotation by the bigs just now. I'm sure Hud's addressed that.
Yeah, in no uncertain terms. Close opportunity for the Quakers, tipped around 3 times. And Emmett Matthews picks it up out of bounds. Penn basketball. Well, we'll get a good look at it here. Emmett didn't think so. Yeah.
Yep.
Just enough. Now he continues to argue his case, but
got a smile on his face. He knows.
He might have saw the replay too. Spinoza trying to get a work on Bell. And a long 2, mishandled by Matthews. Put back. Oh, and they get Bell for the foul.
Late call.
And Coach Huggins can do nothing but laugh.
Yeah,
Eddie Holland, the 6'6" sophomore from Philadelphia. Let's see it again. That's about as, yeah. What do you think, Bake?
Oh, boy.
I'm putting you on the spot.
Well, the official hesitated a long time before making the call. I think a no call right there would have worked fine.
Penn is 3 of 6 from the free throw line in this game. Eddie Holland Second opportunity drops in. And it's 52-32. The West Virginia lead is 20 points.
A little full court pressure by Penn. They were running 1-2, 1-1. West Virginia, no trouble breaking.
And they do get slackered for the reach-in call. Keedy Johnson went to our official for a confirmation on contact.
Yeah, Keedy Johnson wanted a foul call before that, and the second time, slacker gets caught.
And Matthews will inbound right in front of Coach Huggins. And he gets it into the hands of Keedy. Matthews. Jimmy Bell at the one-on-one matchup and draws the foul.
The defender got behind Bell, and Bell spread out down the lane. Absolutely no way you can get around the big fella. Hugs would just like to see him finish more shots, but you know, he's such a space heater and he takes up so much room. If you can get it to him down there and he starts making shots, look out. Because what that does, that makes everybody collapse. And if West Virginia shoots threes like that, they'll have a lot of good open looks.
Yep, solid call. Jimmy now has 5 points with that free throw make. This will be his first trip to the line, also with 3 rebounds in the game. From Saginaw, Michigan. Nice free throws from Jimmy.
Big fella like that's going to be at the line a lot. West Virginia with token man pressure.
Might as well take your opportunities. And a travel on Lucas Monroe against West Virginia, the basketball back. Big, I want to touch on the transfer portal conversation amongst the Ivy League, what West Virginia has been able to do. It's an old school way of developing a team. When I say old school, it's like 5 years ago, but Penn really has to rely on the, you know, old way of doing things.
Getting kids that are going to be there for 3-4 years and groom them and continue to go. It's just the opposite with, you know, teams like West Virginia, and you can see how many transfers they have.
Bit of a legacy conversation to be had there too. Mitchell can't get that one to go, rebounded by Penn. 9 players on this Penn team have relatives who played at the Division I level.
Yeah.
So it's a pretty lineage thing. We'll hear from Amanda Mazey shortly and get you some more detail there. And they say student athlete in the Ivy League, Vic.
They mean student athlete.
They mean it.
That's the way it should be.
Slacker, leading scorer for Penn in this one. And a rip loose by Trey Mitchell. Had Stevenson on the near sideline.
There's a situation where Slacker trying to do too much that time.
Eric Stevenson.
I don't know how you stop that.
Stays perfect. He's got 19. And an offensive foul on Marks. Yeah, it would have been a travel anyway. And
Good job by Keedy Johnson. The thing is, though, and I'm sure Hudge is not happy, Trey Mitchell got beat off the dribble that time with no problem. Fortunately, Keedy Johnson was there to pick him up and draw the charge.
Any details on those adjustments that West Virginia has made on the defensive side of the ball?
They're doing a little better of collapsing on the weak side. Penn in the first half just throwing the ball and then getting back cuts for layups.
Keedrine Johnson knocks down another for West Virginia. Gets it to go, 59-32. A 7-0 run for West Virginia with that bucket over the last 90 seconds. 12 turnovers in the game for Penn. Most recently, their last possession, Spinoza runs into a brick wall in Bell. Well, they do get Jimmy on the foul.
Jimmy Bell called for personal second team foul.
The one thing that Jimmy Bell has going against him, when guys run into him, he doesn't move and they just kind of bounce off. So the official looks up and says, well, there must be a foul.
That'll be the second on Bell. Marks gets the inbound. Smith wants to pull the trigger, goes to Spinozo instead. Spins by Mo McGee, and a late foul called on Trey Mitchell. But an appropriate one. 2 free throws coming up.
Follows whistle number 3. Trey Mitchell is first. Team foul number 3. The line for the Quakers, number 3.
Spinozo, no hesitation to take the ball to the hole.
Yeah.
He'll put his head down and go.
This is the first one. Spinozo came into this game a perfect free throw shooter. And is 0 for 3 on the game, Big. Next one is up and in. Quakers will make a substitution. Lorca Lloyd from Melbourne, Florida, has checked into the game for Spinozo. It's a much-needed breather. 5 out here for West Virginia. Emmett Matthews, Joe Toussaint, Trey Mitchell, McGee, and Stevenson. Look at the press here utilized by Penn, Big.
Yeah. Like I said, a 1-2-1-1. West Virginia really, all the people in the right position they're supposed to be, so they're handling it no problem.
Keedy Johnson, and they'll get the foul on Michael Moshkevitz. 2 free throws coming up for West Virginia's Keedy Johnson. And Moshkevitz, an interesting story in his own right, 6'7", 230 pounds from Jerusalem. And in Israel, you have to serve 2 years
armed forces,
in the military. And it was funny because Coach Donahue didn't know anything about Moshkevitz until one of his coaching buddies in that world said, hey, take a look at this guy's tape, let me know what you think, and then now he's playing at Penn.
It's history, yep.
Next free throw from Johnson wouldn't go.
Don't see Keedy miss 2 in a row very often.
Adrian Johnson was perfect on the season. This is Moshkevitz. George Smith matched up there with Stevenson.
Here's where he's got to watch those back cuts. Good, West Virginia, good, defending it better.
Slacker gets a good look and knocks it down. Slacker now with 13 to lead all Penn scores. 59-36. Stevenson, long 2. The man does not miss. He is 8 of 8.
Oh my goodness.
21 points.
It's a night like this when you don't want a game to end.
No.
Can I shoot all night?
Well, you hope if you're a West Virginia fan that he returns to his familiar territory as they get Stevenson for the foul.
No, I think he took the try.
Did he? Okay. They call it back. Had a fist up without the signal, at least from one of our officials, but we do get the offensive foul, so it'll be West Virginia basketball when we come back. Mountaineers 61, Penn 36. Stevenson with 21 for the Golden Blue. It has been a night to remember for Eric Stevenson in his 5th year of college basketball. The man has 21 points and has not missed. He is 8 of 8 from the floor, 4 of 4 from 3. What stands out to you, Bake, about his performance?
It's just how calm and smooth he is when he's taking it. You know, he's not rushing anything. I know I'm going to date myself, and nobody under 30 will understand this, but the rim must look like a hula hoop game tonight. That's that big, you know?
No, I think that's a universal comparison. I remember hearing that one.
The hula hoop, yeah, well, some people will have to look that up, but that's what it looks like to him tonight.
No, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. You know, it was fun talking to Eric at the beginning of the season before we got even started. He's a guy that was just constantly playing basketball whenever he could, wherever he could. He's from Lacey, Washington, and had a tough time finding a group of players and friends to actually want to play basketball with him in high school and in middle school. He said he would drive sometimes 40 minutes to go play inside the city of Seattle. And there's his first miss.
He's human.
He is human, that's right. Wasn't a bad miss, though. That's a back iron.
No,
that's about as close as you can get.
Right on line.
Yeah, just a guy that loves to play.
Much better help defense by West Virginia.
Contested shot will bounce in for Slackers. That'll give him 16.
Well, Slacker's doing his part to try to keep the Quakers in the ball game.
Keedy Johnson fouled hard. He'll shoot 2. Things that seemed to open up for him with that help defense coming at the last minutes. We'll get Max Lorca-Lloyd. Hard tumble for Keedy.
Adrian Johnson at the line for the Mountaineers, shooting 2.
Johnson 7 points on 3 of 5 shooting. And makes his first free throw of the game. He's now 1 of 3. Changes for Penn. Charles and Spinoza back in for Lorca-Lloyd and George Smith.
You know, talking about Stevenson and the night he's having, and he's bounced around from, you know, we talked about the number of schools, but last year for Frank Martin at South Carolina, Frank is just like Hugs when it comes to demanding. So he's been coached hard, and he said he liked that.
Wichita State, and then Washington, and then South Carolina, and then to West Virginia. Probably wouldn't be here unless Frank Martin wasn't let go by South Carolina at the end of the season. Slackert, jumper, good. 18 for Slackert. Catching up with Stevenson, who's got 21. Penn still trailing 63-41. Surpassed the 5-minute mark of half number 2. Hands all over Keedy Johnson from Slackert. That's the second time those two have come together. I'm not sure where the argument is, because that's...
I mean, Slackert, I don't know what he could possibly be arguing about here. His players are trying to get him away from... So, you know, a lot of times there's jawing and stuff that goes on when the ball is not in his hands.
Yep, second on Slackert. That's already the 7th foul on Penn here in the second half.
Wow.
Just 5 minutes in, that came quick. So 1-and-1 free throws for Keedy Johnson. So Keedy Johnson looking to get into double figures and gets his first one. He is the 3rd Mountaineer to score over 10 points in this game, along with Trey Mitchell, who's got 11, and Stevenson with 21. Trey Mitchell has not scored in the second half, Bake.
No, he's only taken one shot, and that wasn't really good. It was a little jump hook that he missed badly.
Moshkovitz gets the inbound. And West Virginia will retreat. Has Penn made an adjustment to slow down West Virginia offensively here in the second half? Because the game kind of has a slower tempo to it.
It has, but no, West Virginia's offense is still running the same way that it was.
I mean, this is 64 points for West Virginia, and we've played 6 minutes of basketball in half number 2. Rebound for Monroe. Loose. Wagee after it. Rolling around, bouncing around. Mo Wagee keeps it for the Mountaineers.
What a scrum.
And then a foul.
Eric Stevenson getting the crowd all fired up. Hugs likes it.
That's why he plays.
Yep.
And that is the 3rd foul on Slackert. Mountaineers will make some changes. Keedy Johnson and Eric will come off. Toussaint and Kobe Johnson back in. And Wagee banks it in. Fake.
I didn't see it bank in. I just saw it come through the net.
Either way.
He'll tell you tomorrow he meant to do that.
Absolutely. Wagee has his first point of the game. Has been held in check up until now as he makes both. 66-42. Mountaineers have made a habit of getting nice differentials in their 3 victories and 3 attempts this season. Over 18 points in each. But this one is becoming even greater. Good rebound and reaction from Mitchell there to pull that down. Toussaint. Emmett Matthews. Off the front of the rim.
Right on line, just a little short.
Moshkovitz to the corner. Slackert tipped out of bounds by Mo Wagee. 13-17 to go second half. West Virginia has not had a bucket, though, in the last 2 minutes and 40 seconds. Back into Spinozo. Slacker. Trapped there against McGee. Mismatch there. Spinozo against Toussaint.
Yeah, it is. He needs help.
And they get it, but it's out of bounds. The help coming from Kobe Johnson, the guard underneath.
Mo McGee is very interesting. I like the way he plays. He's going to be a much better player. As Hugs and I were talking today, he still doesn't know how to play yet.
Yep.
But he said he thinks he was a soccer player earlier. He thinks that really helped him when it comes to footwork.
McGee fouled. Thought it was takeoff time for Mo. And Spinozo will pick up the foul, and that'll be his second. Free throws upcoming on the 9th team foul against the Quakers.
Yeah, quick hands.
And actually, that'll be 3 against Spinozo. First one missed by McGee. Mountaineers' best offensive performance came on the road at Pitt, at the Zoo, 81 points. Had 75 here on Tuesday against Morehead State. They have cruised here this evening. And McGee gets the second. He's 3 of 4. This is George Smith, the sophomore. Spinozo. Marks working on Trey Mitchell. Tough shot, no good. Another rebound for Trey. And that'll be his 4th board of the game. Mitchell stays with it. Trey Mitchell had it knocked loose. Thrown ahead for Slacker. Toussaint. Trying to break up the transition offense. 12:23 to go, second half. James Okonkwo now will step in for West Virginia, as will Seth Wilson, McGee, and Emmett Matthews.
Coach Donahue said one of the things against Missouri is that his team finally wore down.
Yeah.
And I think that's what you're beginning to see here. The numbers that West Virginia has.
Marks the offensive board over the top of the taller Mitchell. Spinozo. It's the one-on-one matchup with the recent entry. Okonkwo goes up and scores it.
Spinozo really knows how to use his body down low.
68-43. West Virginia has outscored Penn 16-12 in the second half. It was 52-31 at halftime. Mitchell. Another pro shot. Can't get it to fall. And here's Spinozo to Smith. Slacker was trapped before he found Martz on a defensive breakdown, and Penn gets the triple, 68-46.
Boy, that's a really, really tough but good play by Slacker. I mean, he was trapped under the basket and really had nowhere to go with it. Kept his head up the whole time, made a nice pass out, ends up getting a 3 for the team.
Josiah Harris set to check in for West Virginia. Kobe Johnson into the corner. Okonkwo left wide open. And Slackert grabs the board. Slackert's got 18 in the game. Eric Stevenson with 21. Slackert shakes loose of Toussaint all the way to the basket. And he'll shoot 2 free throws. As we'll step aside, the Mountaineers 68, Penn 46. West Virginia in a bit of a scoring drought, 0 for their last 5 from the field as that man goes to the line. When we come back on Big 12 Now on ESPN+.
Lead. And Andrew talked about this earlier about all of the family ties on the Penn team. 9 players on the roster have family members who have played college athletics. Take a look at this list. Colin Chambers, for example, he hasn't played tonight, but his dad played basketball at Penn. His uncle played football for the Quakers. Jordan Dingle's dad played basketball at UMass, and he averaged 10 points per game for that 1996 Final Four team. That is pretty impressive. Even a West Virginia tie-in. Max Lorca-Lloyd's brother played football down the road at Alderson Broaddus. You know, with those kind of bloodlines, Coach Donahue says it definitely helps to have players who understand what it takes to be good and competitive at this level. That's a pretty impressive list.
Yeah, it is, Amanda. Thank you very much. Football at AB Bank. There's always a West Virginia connection, as
somewhere
they say, right? The Battlers. Kobe Johnson scores for West Virginia and makes it 70-48 as we welcome you back to the WVU Coliseum. That cuts into a 7-0 Penn run, Bake, that they had before we stepped aside.
Kobe Johnson with a nice little floater. Larry Harrison was really working on those guys with those floaters today in their shoot-around.
Marks, no good on the three as Josiah Harris rips it away from Seth Wilson. Well, you want your big to pull down the rebound no matter who it is. Kobe looking shifty. Toussaint thought before he acted. Mountaineers up 22. Seth Wilson takes the contact and will shoot two. We'll get Holland for the foul.
Well, during that last break, just looking at the stats, West Virginia getting out-rebounded 25-16 right now. That's not going to make Hugs happy at all.
You know, as much positivity as there is on the offensive side of things, defensively, not exactly what you want to see out of the Mountaineers. As Seth Wilson able to convert his first free throw. You look at what West Virginia has allowed, Bake, in their first 3 games of the season: 57 to Morehead State, 56 to Pitt, and 58 to Mount St. Mary's. They are trending to finish allowing more than that against this Penn team. And over the back call against Okonkwo will send it the other way.
Foul called on James Okonkwo, second, team foul number 5.
And when you go back to West Virginia's identity, you know, when has it ever been to win in a shootout? Probably not ever.
No.
Especially not for Coach Huggins, who again in this game with a win moves into 3rd place all-time in D1 victories. Spinoza bullying his way in there and will be fouled. And that'll be 6 against West Virginia. And they'll get him on a shooting foul, and Spinoza will shoot 2.
Spinoza does a nice job of protecting the basketball when he gets in traffic. He gets the elbows out, he's not swinging, but you're not going to stick your hand in there and get it. And then he'll clear just enough space to get the shot up.
We get Josiah Harris for the first foul, as Spinoza misses the mark on the first opportunity. Penn in this game, 7 of 13 from the free throw line. West Virginia, meanwhile, 17 of 22. Another offensive board given up. Mountaineers not made to pay for it, as Joe Toussaint will set things up. Shot clock at 14. Still Toussaint. And up for it is Okonkwo. Jump save ends up in the hands of Wilson. Still no good. It's Okonkwo. Turns it in for the Mountaineers. High effort, high finish.
Inside. Good job inside by Okonkwo to get good position.
Jimmy Bell set to check back in for West Virginia. Slacker, 3 ball, no good. And it'll stay with Penn at the 8:51 mark.
Substitution checking in for the Mountaineers, Jimmy Bell.
So Bell comes in for Okonkwo, who just registered the last bucket for West Virginia. Bake, we look at what West Virginia is facing soon at the Phil Knight Legacy Tournament. Purdue as the first one on Thanksgiving, the 24th. Tipped out of bounds again on Spinoza. Oh no, they're actually going to get West Virginia on the call. And they'll stay with the Quakers. So Purdue, and then maybe Gonzaga or Portland State. And then you have a bunch of potential opportunities. Duke, Florida, Oregon State, or Xavier.
Yes, you will see some pretty good people there.
Oh, yeah. And Slacker steps out of bounds. And we were listening to Coach Huggins this week at his talk show. And he was saying that, you know, he was asked rather, is West Virginia ready, or would they be ready for a Big 12 game? And the answer was no.
No. Nope. And talking to Brian Messerly today, I think Mountaineer fans will have to stay up late. I think that tip with Purdue is not until 10 p.m. Eastern time.
You got it. You got it. We are on the West Coast.
Yes.
The West Coast's West Coast. Toussaint left it short. And board grabbed by Lorca Lloyd. This is Lucas Monroe. Martz gonna spot up. Left it off the front of the rim. And pulled down by Seth Wilson. But offensively, more than you expected at this point in the season, Bake?
Well, yeah, I would say that simply because I didn't expect West Virginia to shoot the ball this well from the perimeter now. And that's not going to be the way it is every night, but it's good to see it go down.
Yeah, one of Huggs' first quotes on the season was, the ball actually goes in.
Goes in when these guys shoot sometimes, that's true.
Charles gets the return from Lorca Lloyd. And again, Penn unable to find the mark. And that jump bounces off of Jimmy Bell. Quick thinking from Lucas Monroe. Mountaineers coasting here, 73-48 with 7:34 to go from the WVU Coliseum. We are back after this on ESPN+. Welcome back. West Virginia 73, Penn 48. Mountaineers have not needed some offensive assistance in this game, but further down the line, they might be getting some. Amanda Mazey.
Yet another new face is on the bench for the Mountaineers, but he's in street clothes for now. Manhattan transfer Jose Perez is now officially enrolled at WVU for the spring semester. That announcement came yesterday, but still no timeline on when he'll be able to practice or play. He just entered the transfer portal a few weeks ago. He averaged 18 points last season. Coach Huggins called him a really gifted and talented young man and a really good person. No doubt they'll be glad when he can officially suit up, which we all hope is going to be soon.
Hopefully sooner rather than later. Thank you, Amanda. Lorca Lloyd left it short, rebounded by Jimmy Bell. Yeah, there's a guy in Jose Perez who can do it at multiple levels. He can drive to the basket, he can shoot the ball.
Hugs told me the complete package.
Yeah. Yeah, all the more important to have depth. You see these bigger Big 12 schools having the depth at every position. West Virginia this season having a fair share of it, but to get a certified scorer is always welcome. Ball bounces to Josiah Harris. He's got it.
He's good. Glad to see that go down. Hugs has really been working with him with his shooting.
West Virginia's first points in over 2 minutes, 76-48.
Josiah Harris kind of reminds me right now of an inexperienced Trey Mitchell. Their games are a lot alike.
And Jimmy Bell goes crashing in on Lorca Lloyd. He'll stay here.
One of the things that I've noticed about West Virginia's rebounding and the way the Pitt finished the board, West Virginia has plenty of people underneath, but they're not putting a body on anybody.
Yeah.
You know, if the ball goes up and takes a weird bounce and you don't have a body on it, you don't have a real good chance of getting it. West Virginia is there, but not doing a good job of making contact with the opposition.
And you can't carry that into your Phil Knight games, because you do that against Purdue, or you do that especially against Gonzaga, against a player like Timmy. Not going to work out for you.
No, it's not.
West Virginia has been out-rebounded by a margin of 10, 33-23. So as nice as that first half was for West Virginia, where they scored 52 points, they scored just 24 here in this second half. But it's been slow going for Penn as well, and the buckets for them in the last 5 minutes. Josiah Harris wants it again. Rebounded by Wilson. 6 minutes to go here from the WVU Coliseum, West Virginia. Just moments away from a 4-0 start. Toussaint has things open up.
Quick crossover. Toussaint really so quick. Doesn't take much space for him to get to the hole.
Again, as West Virginia has paced themselves for the best offensive performance of the season. 81 against Pitt. Okonkwo. Block extended there against Lorca Lloyd. And that one's a tough shot, wouldn't go. Slackert, who is slowed down here in half number 2. He's got 20 on the game, though. West Virginia has the game's leading scorer in Eric Stevenson with 21, but he's been benched since about the halfway mark in half number 2. Slackert goes up. Another tough miss. And it rolls off the Mountaineer with 5 to go.
Again, not a box out. You know, you can't be shoulder to shoulder. You have to have your rear end into that guy and kind of shove him back to get that good position, and that's not happening for West Virginia.
Now, if there's a guy who knows about rebounding, Bake, it's you.
Just got to find somebody, and put, even if it's not your man, find somebody in an opposite jersey and put your body on him.
Pat Sumnick in for West Virginia, and Lorca Lloyd escaped Okonkwo. Defensive breakdown there for West Virginia.
It was.
And I'm not sure Coach Hugg saw it because he was giving the explanation to Kobe Johnson.
No, he did not see that, and fortunate for whoever messed that up that he didn't see it.
78-51 Mountaineers. And lead by 27. Toussaint. He got another one. West Virginia with 12 three-pointers in the contest. A season high. Moshkevitz. McMullen drains it on the other end for Penn. 81-54.
You know, Penn gets Dingleback. They'll be just fine. They are picked to win the Ivy League this year.
Yeah, they are. Toussaint looking for the alley-oop there with Okonkwo. Nice touch and finish from James Okonkwo.
Huggs would rather see that than him taking out those perimeter shots. That's okay, but if you can do your damage down low, that's what you need to see.
Yeah, more than that expectation for this Penn team. They finished 12-16 last year, but are picked to finish to win their league, and that is due to an experienced group. Moshkevitz didn't get all that one to McMullen. And it's West Virginia possession. That'll send us to our final break of the game. Mountaineers 83, Penn 54. Mountaineers' highest offensive output of the season on Big 12 Now on ESPN+. There's a line score for you as West Virginia is 3 minutes and 29 seconds away from a 4-0 start. Let's revisit the balance score and Bake for West Virginia. It's Eric Stevenson leading the way, and he's not played that much in the second half, but that's about typical with the exception of McGee, who's been held in check.
Well, that's exactly right, and you know, it's Stevenson tonight. It could be very easily Matthews the next night. You just never know, and that's why it's nice to have so many different guys. Penn in a 1-3-1 zone, and that's the first time we've seen that tonight.
We'll see what West Virginia can do here. Bake, this is the most we have seen the depth players for West Virginia, and there's Pat Sumnick scoring for the Mountaineers. What have they impressed you with, if they have?
Well, they have. The way that they've been passing the ball on the offensive end and the shooting, the one thing that would disappoint you would be if you went into they have given up 17 offensive rebounds tonight, and that cannot happen.
Yeah. Larson, but an offensive foul.
Boy, Coach Donahue can't be happy with that. That was a late call, but they got him on the charge.
Yeah, it was Okonkwo setting his feet against the recent entry, Gus Larson, 6'10" sophomore from New Canaan, Connecticut. Toussaint, see how West Virginia can handle this zone.
Yeah, well, that's good to see, too. West Virginia needs because
Okonkwo, tough miss, and off of Sumnick.
One other thing that's very impressive, that's been great, West Virginia had 6 turnovers at halftime. They have 7 for the game. Only 1 here in the second half.
Yep.
You protect the ball like that, you're going to get some shots up. So that's something that's been very good for West Virginia.
Yeah, they forced 17. Jamel King back in the game for West Virginia. Triple from Charles on the way, knocks it down. 85-57 with 2:10 to go. Also going to get a Josiah Davis cameo coming up. Freshman from Kitchener, Ontario.
I'll share a little story about him today as Hugs was talking about him.
Oh, good dish to King. Reverse layup, didn't even leave his feet.
Yeah, good job. West Virginia executing well against that zone.
And we'll get a substitution timeout.
Josiah Davis coming in, and they were calling him Little Eddie because they thought he looked like Eddie Murphy. I don't know that I see that, but that's what Hugs and those guys were calling him today.
Colin Chambers has come into the game for Penn. We're back after this with our final timeout. 87-57 West Virginia on ESPN+. Mountaineers up 30 against the Quakers of Penn, 87-57. Here's what we got coming up for West Virginia out in Portland for the Phil Knight Legacy Tournament. Purdue, the winner of Gonzaga or loser in Portland State, and then a bunch of options for Thursday. Bake, you getting out there?
No, I'm not.
Oh.
I thought about it, but no, I'm not going to go. You know, at least the guys that are from the West Coast, you know, Stevenson and Matthews, that'll be a chance for family members to get there without a ton of trouble. So let's hope that works out for those guys.
Yeah, solid point. We are back on ESPN Plus on December 10th as West Virginia takes on UAB, the Blazers, in town here. And we are back underway. So West Virginia with just over 90 seconds to get this done. 87 points, the most on the season for West Virginia. Meanwhile, the 57 for Penn are their fewest points since they had 50 against Iona, but that is without their leading scorer in this game, Jordan Dingle. Lorca Lloyd swatted by Okonkwo, and Lorca Lloyd fouled that time. So he'll shoot two. Okonkwo picks up his third. 5 out here for West Virginia. Jamel King, Sumnick, Okonkwo.
A good block. I don't know if the hands came down or the arms came down and that was the call or not. Hugs likes for those guys to keep their hands straight up when somebody's inside.
Also Seth Wilson and Josiah Davis for the Mountaineers. McMullen in the game for Penn along with Colin Chambers. 1 in blue. Who matches up here against Josiah Davis. Sumnick inbounds to Josiah, who escapes. Seth Wilson. Now, I don't understand the student section that Jordan Dingle's injured. And Davis is fouled. I'll get McMullen with 1:07 to play. And free throws upcoming for Josiah Davis.
A chance to get on the get in the books.
And the first one gets out of there for the freshman. And a rebound against Morehead State. And there it is.
Guys on the bench, glad to see him score.
And Alex Ruoff too, first man up. 1 minute to go. Bake, I would say that, you know, offensively, this is obviously West Virginia's best performance, especially when you can get your first group of guys out there. But defensively, got to clean it up. Maybe another offensive rebound for Penn, and something knocks it out of down. But defensively, did you get too comfortable because you went up by so much so early?
Yeah, I think they did. And against a team like Penn, who does so much cutting and stuff like that, if you're relaxed at all, they're going to burn you. And they did some of that.
Chambers finds the man.
See, again, nobody, you know, putting a body on someone. So
Josiah Davis fouled. He'll shoot two. Off the miss from Laskowski on the other side. West Virginia looking for a quick transition bucket. 36 seconds to go. Josiah Davis back to the line. But again, with the asterisk placed on this game because a lot of your starters really only played a half.
Yeah.
Davis makes another. Again, Eric Stevenson, 21 points, 8 of 9 shooting, perfect from 3, 4 of 4.
You know, it's great to see that some of these other young guys get in now, because once you get into this part of the schedule, it's going to be limited play for some people.
Yeah, true. Back to Stevenson. He played just 16 minutes in the game, Bake. Trey Mitchell, 23 minutes. Emma Matthews played 25. He'll finish with 7. 25 seconds to go in the game. Chambers can't get the 3 to go. Okonkwo grabs the board. Seth Wilson up the floor for West Virginia. Josiah Davis, first field goal.
Nice dump off by Wilson.
Oh, Chambers wanted the backdoor pass that time to Laskowski. And with 7 seconds to go, the Mountaineers put up 92 points against Penn in the first meeting in 4 decades between the two. And Bob Huggins moves into 3rd place all-time in Division I victories with 920. History made here for West Virginia at the WVU Coliseum on the season and for their head coach, Bake.
Yep, another one notched up for Hugs.
He ties Jim Calhoun for that number. Boeheim and Krzyzewski are the only 2 ahead of him. So another feather in the cap for head coach Bob Huggins with a victory here tonight. And we have the announcement. And the fans love it. Bake, what did you like about this game? What did you not like?
I like the way that West Virginia came out after the start that we saw against Morehead State. There were some defensive lapses that really have to be cleaned up, and the rebounding is going to have to be cleaned up as well.
West Virginia gets it done, the final 92-58, as Eric Stevenson scores 21 points in the Mountaineer victory in just 16 minutes. Trey Mitchell with 11, Keedy Johnson with 11, and Joe Toussaint with 11. So in total for the Mountaineers, 4 in double figures. It's Slackert scoring 20 for the Quakers. And that'll do it for us from the WVU Coliseum. For Warren Baker and Amanda Mazey, I'm Andrew Caridi signing off on ESPN+.